Okay, so hopefully that will have fixed all those nasty gremlins. Ben Slater joins me. The score overlay apparently is somewhere around here, Ben. Just somewhere around here. The crowd are singing Sweet Caroline. I don't know really what you can say about that. A new, like I mentioned before, a new domestic T20 record over the past 20 years. I mean, it'll be obviously a tough dressing room to be in at the moment, but Birmingham, they played well there, didn't they?
Yeah, I think so. Obviously, I think you've got to give credit where credit's due. I think obviously we probably would have liked to have executed a bit better with the ball, but some of the striking there from their boys, especially Hayne and Hose at the end, I think, yeah, you've got to give credit to where credit's due sometimes, and they played exceptionally well. Tough dressing room to be in, but I think with our batters there'll be hope there that we can still knock this off.
Is this where experience comes into it? A little bit of calm heads, experience?
Yeah, I think so. I think obviously having Baz at the top, someone who can play the innings that Hayne did there, if not better. I think as long as we've got a couple of lads in, then there's no reason why we can't knock them off with the short boundaries and the outfield. What we spoke about, how fast it is. So you never know. And is that one thing that you can always look upon when you've seen a team do what Birmingham have just done? You've seen the pitch. It's very clear what we need to do here, isn't it? And it is kind of, I'm not going to say it's either thingy or bust in the sense of, but the target is very high, and we know that it's got to be 12 and over, etc. The plan is very simple, isn't it, really? Yeah, I think obviously one of the reasons why we probably bowled first is so we knew what total we had to chase down. Obviously we probably wouldn't have wanted it to be as high as that, but that can happen here at Trent Bridge. We know that with how good the wickets are and the boundaries being so short, so sometimes that can happen.
We've always spoken about Outlaws having batting depth going down to 9. We've seen Matt Carter hit some. Fletcher's got a strike rate, I think, over 150 this season already. So, everybody's going to have to play a part here if we're going to get close to that and get over the line.
Yeah, I think so. It'll take something special from someone and for everyone else to play around them, I think. But like you say, with our batting lineup, especially at the top with the guys that we've got, and then the guys sort of coming in low down, there's no reason why they won't think that they can chase this down.
Now you're a batter. We've seen people sort of maybe potentially target some of the spinners, like Carter, Samit Patel, etc. As a batter, is that what potentially Alex, JC will be looking at, potentially finding that bowler and going, right, we need to have a strong over here?
Yeah, I think usually there's matchups that lads will like who's bowling, and it might not, and it might suit certain guys, it might suit someone else. But I think in a chase like this, I think it'll be going to have to go from ball one really, and have to start quick, I think.
Well, Baziv's currently out on the field, so are the umpires. So I'm going to say thank you very much, Ben Slater, and hand back over to Sam and to Lee.
All night in the field and with the ball for Notts, there's certainly no getting away from that. And as we've already said, if you do a once in a 20-year performance, the first side to reach 260 in the domestic T20. I think there's got to be blame, blame and credit equally split. It wasn't great from Notts, it was terrific from the Bears.
We saw chaos here on Tuesday, we've seen chaos here this evening. Can we see more history, more chaos? The umpire's back out on the field. Let's see if Notts can pull off what would be the seemingly impossible. They need 262 runs to win. Commentary from the former Notts batsman Sam Kelsall and Dave Bracegood.
Thank you very much to Alex. The umpires Chris Watts and Russell Warren are in the middle, and the Bears being led out by Carlos Brathwaite, their skipper. Although if you see the back of his shirt, he doesn't call himself either Carlos or Brathwaite. It'll have Ricky on the back of his shirt. I'm not a great fan of nicknames. I know when Andre Russell played here a few times back in 2016, I think he had Dre Russ on the back of his. So here come Alex Hales and Joe Clark. I just wonder if they've been sent out there with a rousing message from Dan Christian. Certainly Sam Kelsall believes that Notts might go close.
Look, it's obviously going to take a mammoth effort, but knowing these two up top here, they're not going to hold back. It's a toss of the coin, you know. We can't afford to lose any wickets in this first 6, but they've obviously got to go really hard as well.
Another chance for us to have a little look at Jake Lintott. He's caused problems for Notts over the last couple of years. I don't know if you've seen much of Lintott, but he gives it a good old rip. It's going to be Ollie Stone to start with. He's only recently back from a long-term injury. In fact, his first game back was the match at Edgbaston 2 or 3 weeks ago. Slippery customer. He'll be bowling to Joe Clark. Well, good luck, Notts. 13 and over, or just a little over 13 and over required.
Fasten your seatbelts, Dave.
Well, certainly they can only play it one way if they're going to attempt to chase this down. I'm not sure what we're waiting for. I think there's people moving about, and Alex Hale's got his arms spread at the non-strikers end, as if to say, all these people moving behind the bowler's arm stewards, are you going to do anything to stop them, and can we get on with the game? Or perhaps it was towards the particular people that were moving about. Either way, we're ready. Joe Clark comes in and bowls edged for 4. Well, that's a good start. I was just about to say there was a slip in there. Had they stuck maybe 3 slips in there, it might have been edged. It's difficult to tell how high it was actually, but safely finds its way down to third man for 4. Pleased to say those of you following on the live stream managed to get the graphics back, so you'll be able to follow it a little easier during this innings. It was perhaps a blessing that you just couldn't see those 6s and 4s just rattling up on the board as we could in the first innings. Here's Ollie Stone, Notts just about up with the rate already. Next one, cut away, but to backward point. That's fielded there. You're going to have to help me out. That must be Dan Mousley by, or Mosley I think his name is, by process of elimination. We didn't have a number 80 on our scorecard. That's because we didn't have Dan Mosley on it originally. 4 without loss, Notts. Here's Ollie Stone. Still no Chris Wokes. He's another one out a long-term injured. This one down to Lintott. Bounces the ball in. He's another one whose career has gone in leaps and bounds. He's had a good couple of blasts and got picked up in the 100 and went off to play in the Caribbean Premier League. Really is a lucrative business if you can start getting picked up by some of these franchises for the tournaments around the world.
Yeah, he's obviously come through the minor counties system. I think he was director of cricket at a school down south.
I was just going to say, I think that makes more sense. I was stupidly going to say he's a schoolmaster, but yeah, director of cricket at a school is probably better. Here's Hales digging this one out, and there's no run. Hales 197 runs in this season's competition at 28 apiece, or an average of 28, top score 91 in that win at Derby.
I think Ollie Stone's gone really, really full purposely early to Alex there. Doesn't want to be bowling length.
Craig says, can we see a second meteoric run chase at Trent Bridge in the space of a week? John says, probably not going to watch this innings. It's a lovely shot from Hales through the offside for 4 runs. Some performer in T20 cricket, Alex Hales says he's stating the obvious, but he's getting up there now in terms of the all-timers in T20 cricket. Alex Hales, he's 5th in the domestic T20, just behind Ricky Vessels, who of course no longer involved, left Worcestershire last year. The leading run scorer is Luke Wright, 4,900. Hales heading up towards 4,200. Next ball dug out by Hales into the offside, 9 without loss. And in the overall total worldwide career T20 runs, Chris Gale is at the top, 14,000. Hales almost 10,000. He's 9th. So he goes around the world, he gets runs here, there and everywhere, and he's making his way up that chart. In fact, he's just behind Brendan McCullum, and we don't think Brendan McCullum's going to score any more T20 runs. He's just found himself a new job.
Quite an important one as well, Dave.
Here's Craig Miles to bowl the second over, former Gloucestershire man. Probably his third or fourth year now with the Bears. 9 from that first over. Not quite enough.
There's time. Obviously, we'd maybe normally see a bit of spin from one end early, but Warwickshire opting with pace from both ends, which I think Joe and Alex will both like.
It's Craig Miles then from our end of the ground, the Radcliffe Road end, bowling to Clark, who backs away, drives through the offside for 4. Lovely shot from Joe Clark. My word, that was a nice bit of timing. And Craig Miles, it's not easy to bowl on there, is it, young man?
No, I just think they can really take and learn from the way Sam Hain batted. You know, I think nothing too extravagant is needed on this pitch. I think the ball comes on really well, and yeah, it beats the outfield. It's 4.
Just 150 in this year's competition so far for Joe Clark. 56 against his former side, Worcestershire. There's Miles, bowls to him again, drives it away through extra cover for 4 more. Back-to-back 4s. I don't know how long the fight back, if that's what it is, will last, but the Notts supporters just getting behind them a little bit. They enjoyed that. That's as loud a roar as we've heard tonight from the home crowd.
Yeah, that certainly woke a few up in the seats. Obviously off to a really good start here.
There's a few gone missing, isn't there? Let's hope they're just queuing for ice creams and drink. We had a party all in yellow, lemon yellow, on top of the Hound Road stand, and they've all disappeared. They've gone to get a drink in as Miles bowls 4 more. Well, it's a little bit of a procession out there. Whoever's bowling, whoever's batting, you need to cash in as a batter, and Joe Clark just forces this away. Took the aerial route over backward point. 4-4-4.
Yeah, and I think Craig Miles will be thinking here, right, where do I go now?
Can I say something absolutely stupid? Not for the first time, and it won't be the last tonight. Notts are ahead on Duckworth Lewis. 21 without loss after 9 balls. Here's Miles bowling, and he's got it away again. Big one from Clark. Big shot. 6 runs for Joe Clark. Timed that beautifully over wide-ish mid-off or long off. Sailed into the lower deck of the Radcliffe Road stand. Plenty of power. Lovely shot.
Just looks so easy on the eye. Just a great swing of the bat. It's been a really profitable over.
Don't get out now. 4-4-4-6. Miles. We're both touching wood here. 6 more, is it? Helped away. Yes, it is. It was angling down the leg side, and Clark just picked it up. Well, a terrific shot away for 6. Just all timing, got into position and played it. Tell me, Sam, in your professional career, I know you didn't play T20 for Notts, but did you ever play that shot? Did you ever practice that shot?
Dave, I practiced it.
That's not a pop at you. It's just how the game has come on.
Mate, yeah,
it's just how the game has come on in the last 2 or 3 years. Not only do they practice it all the time, they execute it all the time.
No, it's not a shot I'm confident with, let's say, but look how easy he made that look, and see, it brings another change in the field.
Crikey, I'd have only tried it once, and the dental bill would have put me off trying again. Next one pulled away. He'll get a single behind square, and the crowd boo. 3 4s, 2 6s, and a single, whatever that is. 4, 8, 12, 18, 25 from the over, was it? Yep. It was indeed. Craig Miles, welcome to the game. The Outlaws 34 without loss after 2. It's bonkers. It's absolutely bonkers.
And I bet he's thinking, is that my night done?
Yeah. Give me another shout, Skip, a little bit later on when he's out. Clark 30 from 9 balls. Hales has at a boundary. He's only faced 3 balls, and we're going to have Ollie Stone. Looks as if he wants another one yet. 34 without loss from 2. Notts going along, the board says, at 17 and over, and they've brought the required run rate down to 12.6.
Easy.
Looks to be an issue with Alex Hale's bat. I would imagine he's got about 15 in his locker up there, but wants a bit of tape applied. He's hardly played a shot in Anger Hales because he's not been on strike yet. Somehow the base of his bat.
That'll probably be his number 1 though, Dave. That'll be his favourite one. He won't want to let that go.
Yeah, you talk to the players and they tend to just have a game bat, don't they? Because in T20 they know it might last them a few games, and then the net bats, 2, 3, 4 weeks when they're right in T20 practice. So Ollie Stone, whose first over went for 9, going to bowl the third over.
Behind again. Sit down.
Tell him, Sam. Play it again, Sam. 34 without loss. Stone bowls. Almost got his Yorker in there, and Clark digs it out. Almost nailed that to perfection, didn't he? Thought he was going to be laid down on that one. Single taken, 35 without loss. Like Ollie Stone, I used to very much sing his praises when he was a North Ents player. Seen him once or twice bowl slippery quick spells. Battered very nicely here, in fact, with Sam Hain in the championship game last year.
Yeah, it's great to see him back. Obviously one of the fastest on the circuit.
Here he comes again from the pavilion end. Alex Hales on 4, full toss. Hales pushes it away into the offside, and he's caught. They're looking towards the umpire, and Chris Watts, who's standing at point rather than square leg, head bowed, and has to go, does Hales. Just wondered about how high it was, but Hales didn't execute it properly, and he's gone for just 4, and Notts didn't need that. 35 for 1. Hales caught Hain, who's having the night of his life. Caught Hain bowls Stone for 4.
Oh, that's a real hammer blow early for Notts. Alex will be absolutely livid. Yeah, you would back him to put that away 9 times out of 10, and he's just not caught it well at all, and so just lobbed up to Sam Hain at cover.
Well, regular listeners will constantly heard me banging on about Ben Duckett and how I think he should be in the Netherlands this week as part of that England one-day squad, but he's not. He's here at Trent Bridge, and he's got an opportunity here to, well, play his shots. He's another modern-day cricketer in that he plays all around the wicket, complete 360 degrees player. Sometimes can just go a little too soon with the funky shots, but when he comes off, what an absolute delight to watch. He's at the crease in the third over, with Notts still requiring an absolutely insane 227 runs to win. Did you see how the Bears celebrated that wicket? They obviously...
Yeah, and the stunned silence as well in the crowd.
They knew that...
Yeah.
I'm sure they know they've got enough runs, but they knew if anybody was going to threaten them, it'd be probably Hales, as Duckett drives his first ball crisply down the ground. Joe Clark turns and sprints back, and they get a couple good mates on and off the field. This pair, Duckett and Clark, enjoy batting with each other. Put on a big partnership at Leicester the other day when Ben Duckett scored 145 off 150 balls. Joe Clark made 89. Duckett off the mark with a couple. He's pulled this one away for a boundary. So quickly into his stride. 41 for 1 Notts in the third over.
Great control on that pull shot. Just use the pace and just beat the short fine leg there. Duckett's away, 6 off 2.
There were 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 really huge overs, weren't there, for the Bears? You just can't see Notts regularly churning out 20+ overs. But let's see, 41 for 1 in the third over. Ollie Stone bowls. Well, same ball, same result. It's not a replay, folks. It's not a replay. It was short from Ollie Stone. It was angling down the leg side, and Ben Duckett pulled it away into the exact same spot, and it crossed the boundary rope in the exact same position. 4 more, 45 for 1.
Yeah, just got his length wrong there. I think obviously when Alex was batting, he looked to go really full and at the stumps, and looks to have just dragged his length back, which has not worked. Will he go full again?
That's 11 off this over. Duckworth Lewis said Notts should be 41 at the end of 3. They're currently 45 for 1. Next ball driven, and they won't get a run here, so a dot ball, and that's what'll hurt Notts, the number of dot balls that they unfortunately can't get away for runs, but they're going at 15 and over. It was 13 at the start, 45 for 1 after 3. Duckett has 10 from 4 balls, Clark has 31 from 10. Alex Hale's out for just 4 this evening. It's going to be the Bears skipper to bring himself into the game, Carlos Brathwaite, Barbadian, number 26, and if you're looking on the live stream, if they zoom in on his shirt, you'll see he has the name Ricky, his nickname.
You're not a fan of that, Dave?
I'm not really, I'm not. I'm not.
Tradition.
Well, I don't know. I don't like these colossal numbers as well. I mean, we always had Gale with 3-3-3 and stuff, didn't we, as Brathwaite bowls, and that will be turned away by Clark. Think it'll be cut off, it will, out there in the deep, away to our right. Couple of runs, couple to Clark, moves him to 33, 47 for 1. Can't quite see who that is. Yes, I can, it's Lintott. Turned round and gave me a flash of his number 23, deep backward square. It was a good stop, wasn't it? I thought it was touch and go, whether it was going to go for 4 or be stopped. Rob Yates is the other one out of the circle. He's now at deep backward square, and they've pushed Lintott round much finer in front of the batman board. Here's Brathwaite bowls, and Clark has gone to play that. I think it's hit him in the middle of the back, and they take a single. Let's have a look at umpire Watts. Is it going to be a leg by? Yeah, taps his knee. I think he hit him in the middle of the back.
Yeah, I don't know if he just took the pace off that one, or he was just, Joe was through it too quickly, but on the hip that caught him, I think.
Gone down on his haunches, Joe Clark. Now then, for Ben Duckett, Carlos Brathwaite obviously makes an alteration to the field, predominantly because Duckett's a left-hander, so the two in front of the Smith Cooper stand are brought into the ring, and a couple are sent out on the other side of the ground. Here is Ricky bowling to Ben, and Ben clips it to mid-wicket. There'll only be a single. 48 for 1. No, not a. I like a nickname as well as the next one, but not on the back of your cricket shirt. 49 for 1. And I know it's all to do with sponsorship. I'm not a great fan of the Birmingham Bears thing either, but there we go. Brace girdle rant over. 49 for 1. Joe Clark, talking of numbers, he's got 33 on his back and 33 on the board. Brathwaite bowls, and again this will be pull behind square, but there's protection. That's good cricket really, isn't it, from Brathwaite, because he pushed 2 down there behind square on the leg side and then bowled a slowish delivery, and that was the only place that Joe Clark could hit it really.
Yeah, good execution from Carlos.
Carlos Brathwaite, remember the name.
It's quite scary to think, Warwickshire scored what they did, and he didn't
get it,
bat.
Nor Chris Benjamin, because he can give it a wallop as well. Next ball sees Duckett play it for 4 through mid-wicket. Nice looking shot. It's Ben Duckett with something similar that took Notts to the 2020 title at Edgbaston. When they defeated Surrey in the final, it was Duckett going to a half-century and hitting the winning runs with a shot similar to that through mid-wicket. And his boundary this evening, not quite as important, but gets him to 15. And Notts on to 54 for 1. Still 1 ball left in the 4th over. Brathwaite bowls, full toss, hit away by Duckett. My word, he's picked that up very sweetly. Again, I think it's been caught in the top tier.
I think that's in the Larwood car park, Dave.
1 or 2 just leaping up, throwing their arms in the air as if they were celebrating themselves. So they did meet, and they think it's gone in the gap into the car park for 6.
New ball,
and the Outlaws
please.
are 60 for 1 after 4. And Ben Duckett is on to 21. And at the same stage, bonkers as it seems, the Bears were 17 behind at 43 for 1. Can they win this with 2 overs to spare? Doesn't make sense, does it? It doesn't make sense. you'd imagine that one or two errors or one or two mistakes, and it's going to cost Notts, and they'll fall well short. But whilst it lasts, let the crowd enjoy it, let us enjoy it. I think it's the hope that kills you.
Just looking down at the Bears card, I think the way Notts play Lintott and Briggs is going to be key. How do we play the spin? I think that's going to be a key partnership from their bowling attack.
The old suitcase has been brought out with the replacement balls. Russell Warren has selected one. Looks as if Craig Miles is going to have another over. His first one was none for 25. Didn't you say goodbye, Craig, when he'd finished? He's bowling to Clark again, and it was Clark who did the business against him in the one over that Miles has bowled, although that was from our end of the ground, wasn't it? Here he comes from the pavilion end. Over number 5 beginning with Miles full toss, and Joe Clark's missed out there. He's got a single because there's just 2 fielders pushed out on the leg side. Nobody's saving one.
I think Joe thinks that should have gone where Ben just hit that previous one.
Yeah, why are you looking for that one? Can you look for this one as well? Quite a lot of stewards about this evening. The lime coats,
they must be hot and
visible. 61 for 1. So Duckett on strike. This pair have added 26 from 11 balls. Not so, just slightly ahead still with regards to Duckworth Lewis. It's not going to rain, that's for sure. And Ben Duckett scoops this one up away, down below us for 4. One bounce, very close to finding the rope. Boundary to Duckett. 65 for 1, and over 20 overs, and that can make a difference. Just 1 or 2 feet just short of the rope rather than going over the rope, can't it? I'm not saying that Notts are going to get anywhere near 260, but whatever they ultimately end up with, if you're going to really put a good score on the board, you want 6s rather than just missing out with a 4. Miles comes in, bowls, and Duckett has hit this. Sam Hain will do the fielding. Hit it to the Bears fielder, who was up inside the circle at short fine. Yard either side, as they say.
Yeah, we saw many of them in the first innings. Just beat short fine and short third in the Bears innings, and that one obviously found Sam Hain there. I think Joe's going to go hard here at Craig, I really do.
Just looking again at the Bears, 107 at the halfway stage. So they got 154 in the last 10 overs. Clark is on 35. Miles bowls. Clark again mistimes his drive, and he's missed out on a run as well. I think the bat jarred his hand as it sort of reverberated in his glove there. Hit it hard into the ground, and I think he missed the opportunity of stealing a single to mid-on.
Yeah, he looks to be rubbing his hands in the dust quite a lot. Maybe he's a little bit sweaty. His gloves are a bit slippy.
Clark on 35. Partnership 31. Miles to bowl the 5th ball of this over. That's a lovely shot. My word, he's driven that 320 yards down the fairway for 6. It's landed on top of the Hound Road stand, right in that little gap where the lemon-shirted supporters disappeared. They were there in the first half, and they've obviously found something better to do after 8 o'clock because they've all disappeared. But what a shot that was.
Such a clean strike.
Clark on to 41. 72 for 1. Notts still ahead. There will come a stage where I say Notts are now behind, because there was a multiple number of overs that had more than 20 runs from them. Miles getting the treatment, and very nearly inside edge onto the stumps there, Clark. He wandered down the track outside off stump trying to get to Miles again, inside edged it, and could so easily have played on. But after 5 overs here on BBC Radio Nottingham, Notts Outlaws 72 for 1, but they still require Sam Kelsall a further 190.
Yeah, obviously a tall order. Well, we think we've great start. Can we make one more over of the power play? The 2 batsmen will be trying to make real use of this last over.
Just quickly, while there's a bit of a hold up here, the Bears having a bit of a mothers' meeting about who should bowl. The other games in the North Group, the top two are meeting at Wantage Road, Northampton this evening. Lancashire made 153 for 7. They were the leaders. Northants was second. They're 51 for 1 after 5. Leicestershire and Worcestershire both towards the lower regions. Worcestershire made just 116 for 9 at Grace Road. The Foxes going well, 49 for 2, and Durham are 37 for 1, chasing Yorkshire's 201. New over, and this one is up in the air from Duckett, and it's going to be the end of Ben Duckett after that lengthy delay. Brathwaite bowls to Ben Duckett, who tries to heave it away on the leg side, gets the top edge, and he's caught at short third man, and Ben Duckett has to go for just 25. Jake Lintott was the fielder. In fact, it's 26 that Duckett made from 10 balls, 4 fours and a 6, and Notts a 72 for 2.
Yeah, good catch running back there from Lintott. Again, just Notts didn't need that. Didn't need that wicket falling down.
So they're going to keep the right-hand, left-hand combination, Notts. Samit Patel has been coming in at 4. Very often, of course, coming in to join Ben Duckett, but with Duckett falling there, I'm going to stay right-hand, left-hand. So Clark is now being joined by Tom Moores, who looked in good nick just before his nasty injury at Grace Road on Tuesday. Was 81 not out when he had to retire hurt. Still Samit Patel, Dan Christian, Stephen Mullaney to come of the recognised batters. But again, to reiterate, Notts have been set, something that no side in T20 cricket has ever done, chasing more than 260 to win a game.
Yeah, I think it's so difficult when you're chasing as many as you are that the batsmen coming in have got no time, they have to go straight away.
There's Brathwaite bowling 2 Moores. He's away first ball, but it'll only be a single. And they rotate the strike, brings Clark back onto strike, 73 for 2. Yeah, and not only go straight away like that by getting off the mark, which Tom did, they've got to go hard with 4s and 6s very early on.
Absolutely. You know, the strike rates have got to be 120, 130, 140, you know, and looking for the boundaries.
And we know how losing a wicket affects the Duckworth-Lewis as well. Notts have to be 82 at the end of this over. Now they're 73 for 2. There's a shot into the deep, and it will just go for 6. Just clears the fielder out there. It's that Craig Miles, it is. He leapt high, and the ball just over his head, and a blast of fire and flame come out of the
I thought he had that.
The flamethrowers.
I thought he had that, but the ball just kept going, kept travelling.
Clark on to 47 with that boundary, faced just 18 balls. There's Brathwaite in again, and Joe Clark tries a dinky little scoop, misses it, and it goes through to keeper Alex Davis. 79 for 2, 2 balls left in the power play.
I think they would be happy with this start. Obviously, the 2 wickets is not ideal, but certainly, you know, but can they make use of these?
Clark's got to bat through, hasn't he? Yeah. Clark's got to get 150. You know, as ridiculous as that sounds, he's going to get his 48th run here. He's hit it straight along the ground to Miles. For Notts to win, Joe Clark would have to get 150, and you know, he's going to need some support as well at the other end. 80 for 2, and you know, you can say 99.9% certain it's not going to happen because it's never been done before. But
well, we've seen some ridiculous cricket over the last couple of weeks, Dave, so who knows? But yeah, it's a massive tall order for Notts tonight.
80 for 2. So Tom Moore's back on strike. Final ball of the power play. The left-hander on strike, and Brathwaite's sent the 2 out on the offside. He has
to be full and wide here.
He will, or Tom Moores will lift him over mid-wicket. Let's have a look. And he was full and wide. So the end of the power play overs, 80 for 2. At the same stage, the Bears had only got 69, but there was a lot of carnage after then, with Hayne and Hose hitting 4s and 6s for fun. 1 or 2 really big overs to come after the halfway stage. So I think Notts have got to have some huge overs over the next 2 or 3 to even stay anywhere near contention. 80 for 2, Joe Clark dominating, he's on 48, Tom Moores has 1, Alex Hale's out for 4, Ben Duckett 26. Cricket brought to you from Trent Bridge by the BBC tonight. It's the Outlaws against the Bears, and we've got Sam Kelsall, the former Notts batsman, with us as Danny Briggs comes into the attack to bowl his slow left arm. The leading wicket taker in the history of the domestic T20 cricket, and Samit Patel 10 wickets behind him. This one's drilled back to Hayne and starts with a dot ball.
I think this next 4 to 6 overs is a real key period now. How do Notts play spin?
There's Briggs, bowls and slammed away for 4 by Clark, and that's his 50. Well battered Joe Clark, his second of the competition already. Comes up in just 22 balls. 5 4s and 4 6s. Colin Hazelden on the microphone, whipping the crowd up with some enthusiasm about those Joe Clark figures. 84. Mistimes this next one. It was very wide from Briggs, and Clark inspects the bottom of his bat and seems to be okay with it. 84 for 2. Briggs bowls. Clark chips towards mid-wicket.
That's 4.
That's a lovely bit of timing. Well called, coach. I didn't quite share your optimism as it left the bat and 2 fielders were converging on it, but he managed to bisect them right in front of the Larwood and Vaux stand, and a lovely bit of timing.
Yeah, I think the fielders tried to run in there on the angle and cut it off, and I just skipped on. This ridiculously scorch outfield.
88 for 2. Next ball wide of the off stump, and Clark's hit that. Now then, is it going to fall short of the fielder? It is indeed. He was again trying to find the top tier of the Hound Road stand, and it actually landed right on the 30-yard circle, with 2 fielders rushing in from long on and deep mid-wicket to try and catch it. Did you think he'd gone then?
Yeah, I thought that was straight up and straight down mid-on's deep mid-wicket's throat. Could that just be what they need?
89 for 2.
Bit of luck.
Notts have taken 9 from this Briggs over. There's 1 ball left, and Tom Moores is on strike. Briggs bowls, and that'll be 4. Moores plays it away. Yeah, I went early, but I did call it right. Just about got that one right. 4 to Moores. He was short, it was pulled down the leg side, and once again a couple of fielders trying to get there. How many times have we seen that tonight, where 2 fielders have tried to converge on it and the ball's been hit right in the gap? Another of the arts of batting. And well, we have a little bit of ABBA for a change. Who's going to be the dancing queens in round about an hour? Been a glorious evening weather-wise, a very hot day in this part of the world. The outfield lightning fast, and the runs have absolutely flown. There's Jake Lintott going to come on and bowl his left arm mix of googlies and all sorts of variations. A difficult man to get away. 93 for 2 after 7. Notts are 20 ahead of where the Bears were. That's absolutely crackers, isn't it?
I like that, Dave. I think that's a real, a good stat for the boys to look at. They'll certainly be looking at that track, and can we stay above it?
So Duckworth Lewis at the end of this over is 102, so they need 9 from this over. Here is Lintott then, really giving it a good old rip, and Clark just has a little bit of a look and punches it down to Rob Yates, who emerges down below us. I'd have to peer over the TV gantry to see him. What happened there?
Alex Davis just threw the ball back, and I don't think Jake was watching. He nearly copped one straight on the head.
94 for 2. So now the fielders are spread far and wide. Lintott to Moores. False start. Or is that a bit of kidology? Jake Lintott comes in 3 or 4 paces and then just bends down to rub his hand in the soil. He'll try again. Moore stands with bat raised and then clubs it away on the offside for 4. Powerfully struck from Tom Moores. Hits the ball as hard as anybody. 98 for 2. It's a little lad's game, Sam.
That's a great shot from Tom, using a bit of width on offer there and really fast hands through the ball.
98 for 2. Again, Lintott's done it. In once again, Bowles, and again Moores drives into the offside, this time straight to the fielder, and it's Chris Benjamin who's had a quiet game, didn't bat, does bowl a little bit, but I wouldn't expect him to bowl in this Bears lineup, unless Notts are 250 for 2 with 3 overs to go. They might throw it to him. Lintott to bowl to Clark, who's on 58. And he's hit that one up in the air now. Is there enough legs on this, or will he be caught? It's gone for 6. Just managed to clear the fielder at deep mid-wicket, or a very wide, long on. Rob Yates was running round there. And your man Yates had every intention of really popping the Trent Bridge bubble here, had he been able to get underneath that, but just enough on it from Joe Clark, and he's on to 64. 105 for 2. Lintott to Clark. This time a little push and run, but they'll only get 1. That's the 5th ball of the over. 13 runs have
really good
come
over
from
so
it.
far. Really good over so far for the Notts boys.
There were 1 or 2 that went for what, 25, 26, 27, and there's been no sign that Notts are going to do that. Well, the one from Miles, wasn't there, went for 25 early on, and this is missed by Moores and missed by keeper Alex Davis as well. I don't think he got anything on it. End of the over, 106 for 2 after 8 overs and exactly 20 in front. Still the Outlaws. Clark 65, Moores 10. They've added 34 from 17 balls. It's fun. It's fun. The worm, those of you watching the live stream will see that Notts got out in front, and they're still there at the moment, but my word, I wonder what happens as we near the latter overs.
You would say there was potentially going to be a few white dots in that worm.
Twirly-whirly from both ends as Danny Briggs bowls, and Clark just clubs this through mid-wicket for 4. I'm going to ask you a stupid question now, Coach. Wouldn't he have a man there? I know you can't have them everywhere, but
yeah.
If it's short from Briggs, I mean, that's 3 he's pulled there, isn't it? And he comes again and bowls down the leg side. That's well left by Joe Clark. It's all too easy to go chasing those down the leg side. The almost free ones to have a go at, but take the run and take the extra ball.
Again, we've seen it so much tonight. I think the batsman's on top here in the first ball of the over.
Feet off the ground, folks. Feet off the ground. Nelson on the board as Clark gets it off Nelson with the 112th run of the innings. Again, he's mistimed that slightly. And he moves on to 70 from just 30 deliveries. Absolutely rattling along here, Joe Clark. Tom Moores has 10.
Tom's eyeing up that leg side boundary and slog sweep maybe.
Nobody saving one on the leg side in front of the bat. Moores has pulled it away, but he's picked out the fielder, Chris Benjamin. Bounces the ball into the gloves of Alex Davis. 113 for 2.
Well, I think, like you said, maybe in the next 2 to 3 overs we're going to need to see that 25 plus over, aren't we?
Clark has 70. Looks the one most likely, but he drives this crisply down the ground. We'll just get another run. 114 for 2. The ground must be absolutely bone hard. It certainly looks it. You can see the patches of grass at each end where the sponsor's logo would have been laid out for the test match. So there's a bit of green grass there. Next ball hit by Moores down the ground. Not sure Tom's taken the aerial route yet. Is it 1 or 2 very crisply along the carpet, but not lifted it in the air yet. 115 for 2. This a better over for Danny Briggs, but so far 9 have come from it. 1 ball left. Full toss, and Clark has missed out. There's 2 there, there's 2 there, there's 2 there, there's only 1 there. 116 for 2. Thought they might just have pushed that one, but 10 from it, 116 for 2, and Notts at 21 in front of where the Bears were at the corresponding stage.
Much better over there from Danny Briggs. He's pretty happy to go for 10.
Just wonder now, they've seen all the bowlers, haven't they? Briggs has bowled, Lintot's bowled, Stone has bowled, Miles has bowled, Brathwaite's bowled. So there's no secrets, there's no devilment, there's no mystery to come.
Potentially, I know Dan Mousley bowls some off spin. There's a potential that, you know, I'm not sure whether he will or not, but it's an option.
If they turn to him or to Benjamin,
we're on top.
Notts are going to have a very, very profitable next 5 or 6 overs. 116 for 2. Here's Lintott. He's their gun. He's the one they expect to get wickets, as Clark again just slaps the bat against his thigh. Feels he's missed out, and he's asking if he can now change it. That's his playing himself in bat. He wants a hitting bat now. 73 from 33 balls from Joe Clark. 117 for 2. And out comes a replacement. Who's that?
Ben Slater.
It is indeed. I was a little surprised. Saw Sol Buddinger on the ground earlier. In fact, he came, as I came into the ground, he came running past me on the concourse with no shoes on. I said, "Where's your shoes?" Left him in the gym, Dave.
Oh, yeah.
Here's Moores. He does take the aerial route. Huge blow for 6. Managed to get it. We're at the Radcliffe Road end to our left. I think it just missed the big screen, the big giant scoreboard screen there. Terrific shot. Down on one knee. Lovely execution and right into the gap. I would imagine there's one or two there queuing for an ice cream or a cup of coffee that had to suddenly move. 50 partnership from 26 balls. Clark has dominated the proceedings in that 50 partnership, but he's had more of the strike. Nice shot from Tommy Moores.
Yeah, the first one that we've seen him look to clear the ropes, and now he wants a new bat. Or I think Joe wants one of Tom's bats. What's going on here?
Well, the
New Balance boys.
They've got a little bit of time, because again the umpire has gone to the suitcase to fetch a spare ball. I mean, I don't know where they're going.
Is that 3 gone tonight,
well,
Dave?
I think so, but I don't know. I can't imagine that went out of the ground, but anyway, they've not found it. 123 for 2. Moores has 18. I think there were 1 or 2 balls lost in that match in the Netherlands today, weren't they? They seemed to end up apparently bowling with just some net balls at the end, because they hadn't got any match balls left. That many had been.
Yeah, I think I saw a tweet saying 9.
Yeah.
9 balls were lost.
What are we waiting for here? Here comes.
Look at all these bats, Dave. Give us one, lads.
How many did you have when you were a pro?
3, Dave.
When you were a pro?
About 3 or 4.
Given them?
Yes, fortunate, yes, now. Yeah, we were talking about match bats earlier, mine's just gone. It feels like somebody's ripped the heart out of me. Yeah, my number 1's gone.
Hold up whilst they've managed to sort out a new bat for Joe Clark. Again, after the last lengthy delay, though, Notts lost a wicket. First ball, you may remember. There's Lintott bowling to Moores, and he's cut this away, and Brathwaite dived forward. Tried to catch it. Now, has Brathwaite hurt or damaged a finger there? No, he's getting up, he's okay. One of those that you can do yourself a bit of a mischief, can't you?
Yeah,
I once broke a couple of fingers diving forward there. Ball, ground and finger hits the ground at the same time, and it's a little bit of an ouch, isn't it?
Yeah.
124 for 2. Here's Lintott. Bowls. Clark will go on deep into his crease to nudge it out, just out of the circle on the leg side. Miles comes in, and I don't think he's been anywhere near the amber nectar, but he nearly toppled over there. It's like he wanted to go one way and his legs wanted to go another. 125 for 2. Comical bit of fielding, but he got the job done. Lintott bowls to Moores. Cut it again into the offside for a single. 126 for 2, and they're absolutely bang on now with Duckworth Lewis.
Russell Warren's not happy with that. Throwing it into the dirt. 2 bounces inside the ring. He's not happy.
Well, they should say, why don't you give us a decent ball out that suitcase. You keep going and having a look. There's Lintott, bowls down the leg side, thank you.
Clever.
Joe Clark leaves it alone. Wide ball, says Chris Watts. 127 for 2. Notts a 2 in front on Duckworth Lewis. Last ball of the 10th over. Halfway stage is reached with a single. 128 for 2. So Notts are still 21 in front of where the Bears were. They can't do this, Sam, can they?
I'm not going to say anything just yet. I think they're going about it nicely. See, Joe Clark's playing a real good hand, and Tom's supported him well. You know, I think we've both said at some stage we're going to need to see 2 or 3 big overs to get Notts close. 134 required off 60 balls.
Those other games in the North Group, the top 2 meeting at Northampton. Lancashire made 153 for 7. Northampton's going well, 104 for 1 after 11. Leicestershire need 10 from 9 overs to defeat Worcestershire, so Leicestershire are going to beat the Rapids. Durham 75 for 3 after 12, chasing 201, which is what Yorkshire got. Obviously they need 202. 128 for 2 here at Trent Bridge. Notts Outlaws versus Birmingham Bears. Dave Bracegirdle alongside Sam Kelsall, Alex Noble with us as well, watching on from our lofty perch. We're in the pigeon coop here at the Radcliffe Road end as Ollie Stone comes back into the attack, fires one into the pads of Joe Clark, but in saying that would probably make you think it was speared towards the leg stump. It wasn't. Clark had got well outside.
I think we see
his off
bit
peg.
of a field change now with that. Joe looking to play that shot. Mid-off comes up and fine legs push back.
128 for 2. Joe Clark on 75. Had a couple of T20 centuries for Notts. Former Worcestershire player, of course. He's mistimed this one down the ground and gets a single now.
He's not happy with these bats. He wants another one. He just waved his arms to say, "What are you giving me here?"
Yeah. I guess that's nobody's fault but his. Would that be, would that be right?
I'm fairly sure they're giving him his bats.
Yeah, so if they've given him his bat, then he's not either knocked it in or whatever. Or maybe somebody's been up to the dressing room and just can't find his bats.
There's a whole load more coming out soon.
Yeah, 129 for 2 at the start of the 11th. Stone is going to go round the wicket here to Tom Moores, who's made a bright and breezy start. He's on 20 from 11. Stone round the wicket, bowls. Moores pushing to the leg side. They might have got 2, but Stone ran into Clark. No fault of the bowlers, who apologises. No fault of Joe Clark's either. They just
Look at
collided.
All these bats here, Dave.
Here you go.
These.
Why not use them all? Why not use them all? Why not have 5 or 6?
He's got 5 or 6. Oh my.
Some South Group matches whilst they're doing all that. The Cider Derby, Somerset 184 for 6, Gloucestershire 95 for 5 after 12. The London Derby, Middlesex 155 for 8, Surrey romping home 110 for 3 after 11. Essex made 244 at Chelmsford, Sussex 13 without loss, they've just started. Hampshire 221 for 3 at home to Kent, who are 22 for 2. Kent, the defending champions, won't be retaining their title this year. Stone bowls a full toss. Clark's hit it out onto the leg side, and guess what? He's not happy with his bat.
No, he's looking at that one now. Look, it's probably another one of them. He's lost his favourite one's gone, and he's picked 2 or 3 others, and he's not feeling them. I hope from a Notts perspective, he does take the liking to this one, and I think he's got one of Tom's now.
131 for 2. Moores has 21. Perhaps needs to kick on, daft as it sounds. Going at almost 2 a ball. Now, Tom Moores. Oh, he's got 4 here. Very fortunate, I think. Or was that a late adjustment to deflect it away from the stumps? But either way, he's got the boundary, and we're at the stage where we don't mind how they get them.
No, 4's 4. Yeah, I think one of I think Joe looks to bat through, and he'll be positively naturally, I think Tom's got to look to go really hard here now. So the wicket's in the hutch and that rate just creeping up.
135 for 2. One ball left in the over. Notts are 2 behind to Duckworth-Lewis. This one's hit away. Will it go for 4? Great bit of fielding, and they only get a single. No, Tom Moores is coming back. In comes the throw, and they're going to get home, and they do indeed. It was like baseball relay. Don't know what I'm talking about because I don't watch baseball, but the throw came in from the deep to the keeper, who threw it down to the far end. It missed the stumps, and there was somebody backing up and running round second base. There was Tom Moores, and Joe Clark was already at fourth base. I don't know. They got home. I think it's 137. It is 137 for 2 after 11. They're still 20 ahead of where the Bears were at the same stage. Duckworth-Lewis says that they're level. You know, that is only a comparison because we're not going to have rain. We're not going to have an interruption. But that relevant one is where the Bears were at the same stage. They're 20 runs ahead of the Bears. They're 2 overs effectively ahead of where the Bears were, but they've got to keep on doing that. And of course, they've got to keep on doing it without losing wickets. They've got to keep going at 13 and over without losing wickets, which is easier said than done. Here's Danny Briggs round the wicket. Bowls driven crisply past the bowler down the ground. 2 fielders converge. Great
Brilliant.
stop. Wonderful stop down here by Adam Hose. That was terrific. And you can hear a round of applause, and if a Trent Bridge crowd are applauding the opposition's fielding on the boundary, you know that was good work. Really good from Adam Hose.
Just knock that rope in back for us, Adam, because we just made the boundary slightly bigger.
They got 2, 139 for 2. Clark's on to 79. Clark's hit it in the same place as he hit it harder. Will they cut it off? And this time it's Yates who gets there, and this time they'll only get 1. 140 for 2. I wish they'd hit it somewhere else, because both of us nearly have to topple out of the window to see what's happening when it goes down below us. It wouldn't be a glorious sight, either myself or Sam Kelsall toppling out of the window. 140 for 2. We're in the 12th over. We've already had over 400 runs this evening. It's T20 cricket. Briggs wide of the off stump and called a wide by umpire Watts. 141 for 2. Imagine sitting there all evening, Sam, with your finger on that buzzer or button waiting to play it. Moores hits this one down the ground for a single. 142 for 2. You know all the nooks and crannies here at Trent Bridge. Where will that be? Where will he be sat there with his finger on the button?
Is it Mick in his office, maybe?
Clark back on strike. Joe Clark 80 from 40 with a number of different broken bats already behind him. He hits this one along the ground. He won't be happy with that either.
Really
81.
Really good over so far.
I'm not entirely sure he's hit a boundary, and certainly not hit a 6, since his favourite bat was damaged and he had to say goodbye to it. And he's probably had 3, if not 4, different ones since then. 143 for 2. Moores back on strike. Briggs bowls. Tommy Moores drives out towards the William Clark stand, and there's Chris Benjamin doing the fielding. And we've got a gross on the board. 144 for 2. 1 ball left in the 12th. Notts need 4 from this delivery to be where Duckworth-Lewis say they need to be. Next ball, there's only a single. 145 at the end of an over that only brought Notts 8 runs. Clark has 82. Moores has 29. This partnership worth 73. Notts lost Alex Hales for 4 and Ben Duckett for 26. They've still got the hard-hitting Christian. They've got Samit Patel, who scored 100 for lashings against the club side yesterday, so he's in a little bit of form. And Stephen Mullaney, who got his career best T20 score a week or 10 days or so ago at Headingley against Yorkshire. So all 3 of them are very capable. We know that this is the tallest of tall orders for Notts to get within 50. If they get to 200, they've done pretty well chasing.
Yeah, I think Joe is going to have to target Carlos here.
Ricky.
Yeah, sorry, Ricky.
It's Carlos Brathwaite coming, but
I think he's going to...
we were saying earlier, you might see it, those of you watching the live stream, he's got Ricky on the back of his shirt. 145 for 2. He's a hard man to target though, isn't he? But he has gone for 11 and over, 2 overs for 22. Did get rid of Ben Duckett. He's bowling to Clark with one of the broken bats. Hits this one sweet as a nut. Down the ground for 4, and it's gone bouncing into the little concourse area there between the seats at the pavilion end and the lower hound stand, and it just bobbled up nicely into the hands of somebody who threw it back. I'm reluctant to say a gentleman because it might have been a lady, because it's a long way from here. Is this the over, says Sam. Clark walks across his crease and gets nothing on it and just cloths it back to the bowler. 149 for 2. Clark has 86. We had a century earlier in the evening from Sam Hain, his first in T20 cricket. Adam Hose went close, he made 88 not out. Joe Clark's currently on 86. It's a bonkers evening as Brathwaite bowls a wide, and that's the 150 up. I normally say, why do spectators bother? Even in Championship cricket, why do they bother applauding the 150? But yeah, this evening, give them a ripple, get behind them, let them know you're with the players. Didn't really though go through with it. Somebody behind the arm again. Look,
the group in the yellow are back, Dave.
Yep. Good stuff. Look at those two standing behind the arm, and somebody said keep still because they're bowling, and now a lime-coated steward admonishes them, tells them to sit down. Brathwaite to Clark on 86. Next ball is hit.
Oh, no.
This might be the end of Joe Clark, and he's gone for 86, and Brathwaite's got his man. Not been happy with the replacement bats. Joe Clark took the aerial route and has managed to pick out Ollie Stone in front of the pavilion fence. Brathwaite gets his second wicket and Joe Clark's out for 86, and Notts very much up against it as they have been throughout, but now Clark has gone. Faced 45 balls and hit 8 4s and 5 6s. Terrific stuff from Clark, but it's not his fault. He's done a terrific job there in making 86 from 45, but the measure of the task this evening, it just makes it look nowhere near enough.
Yeah, he had no option there but to try and get some boundaries. I felt that he was going to target Carlos, and see Ricky's come out on top.
I like this, Dan Christian coming out. I was sort of alluding towards it earlier on in the evening. Carlos Brathwaite had a dip in confidence during the last winter when he was playing for Sydney Sixers, and reading all about it in Dan Christian's autobiography. Couldn't get it away, couldn't hit the ball and whatever. And Christian, who wants to go into coaching, took him away, and they had lots of sessions together, one-on-one sessions in the nets, and Dan sort of talked through a few things with him, freed the arms and how he could get himself nice and relaxed and whatever, as Brathwaite bowls one that's wide-ish to Christian, and it goes through to Davis, and it's not called as a wide. And gradually, with the help of Dan, he got his mojo back and started cashing in with the big scores. So I was a little fearful that he might do that this evening, and Christian's tips and coaching and time, that's going to be a wide. Mr. Brathwaite gives Christian a bit of a sighter at it. 151 for 3. End of this over, Duckworth Lewis says 164. Again, the fall of the wicket, it just bumps it up a little bit. Next delivery wide of the off stump, and Clark, I beg your pardon, Christian can't reach it. Also been wondering why he's number 54. Any idea?
Absolutely none, Dave, no.
151 for 3. This time he's got a thickish outside edge. Now then, there should be a couple, no more. Down here is Benjamin. Yeah, they come back for 2. Born on May the 4th. 54. Also known as Star Wars Day or something, isn't it? May the 4th be with you and all that. 153 for 3 at the end of the 13th over. Christian off the mark with a couple. Moores has 29. Notts require 109 from 7 overs. It's been done in the past, 109 from 7 overs, says he optimistically. 8 came from that over, but the wicket of Clark. But he wasn't the same player after he broke the bat.
No, evidently looked, not happy with the replacement that he had.
Lintott to bowl his 3rd over, bowling to Moores, goes deep into his crease and pulls it down the ground to long on, and almost toppled backwards there, Tom Moores. I don't know if you saw it. Look, he's just checking his spikes. That would have been a very inelegant way to go, toppling back onto his stumps. It would just about top his week, having edged one into his Adam's apple on Tuesday at Leicester.
I guess it can sound ridiculous really, but it just looked to upset Joe's rhythm when he did have to change that bat.
Yeah. 154 for 3. Dan Christian can't afford to hang about. Lintott bowls and Christian's got that away. That's going to be a test in the field, and the ball wins. Christian getting his first boundary. 158 for 3. He's on to 6, Dan Christian. We're at the stage now where these big overs came for the Bears. Notts need 18 runs from the next 4 balls just to get where Duckworth Lewis say they should be. They are still around about 10 ahead of where the Bears were at the same stage, but there were some big overs to come. Next ball sees Christian leave his crease, cover the spin and push it into the offside.
Yeah, that's well bowled. I think that was the wrong one from Jake.
It's not, and I don't want him to start doing it, but he's not ripping it as much as he has done in the past, both here and at Edgbaston when he's played against Notts. Moores has missed out there. He's played a reverse sweep and hit it straight on the bounce to Brathwaite for no run. So maybe he is somebody they can get after here, Lintott, but he's only got 8 balls left. 2 more in this, his 3rd over. Bowls and Moores has hit it up in the air. Now will that sail away on the breeze, or will it be a catch? It will sail away on the breeze. Off towards the city centre. 6 runs to Moores.
It's the top edge. Top edge carried all the way. I think that was much needed.
Did he know it was going to go and sail over the rope for 6 though? Because I was a little worried about that one. He's on to 36, 165 for 3. First result of the evening comes in the North Group. Leicestershire have defeated Worcestershire. As Moores drives into the offside, past the diving fielder, it was in the air. It's gone for 4. He's down on the ground. Is it Craig Miles? No, it's not. It's Dan Mosley. Flung himself at it, tried to take one out of the air. Couldn't pull it off. 169 for 3, so that's a great end to the over. 16 from it, and Notts are still 20 ahead of where the Bears were at the same stage. 93 from 6 overs, Sam. What's that? 12 and over? No. 15 and a half and over. Yeah. Looking at the wrong bit on the screen. 15 and a half and over.
Couple of hits.
Couple of hits each over, and a few more.
See, Danny Briggs is coming into his last over here. And we can't say just see it off. He's going to have to.
Well, he's gone 3 overs for 31. Would you settle for 10 and no wicket from this over? You want more, ideally, but 169 for 3. It is Briggs bowling. Christian down on one knee and brings an appeal from the bowler. And they're going to take a leg by Russell Warren, tapping his knee in the direction of the score box, where Roger Marshall and Russ Dickinson are doing the notching this evening. 170 for 3. Alex Noble, who's with us this evening, said as a youngster it was his ambition to be a cricket scorer here at Trent Bridge, to score in the score box. How about that? This is hit down the ground by Moores. He picked out the fielder. He has.
Great catch.
Tom Moores has gone. Might be Ollie Stone. It's a fabulous catch down there. Might not be Ollie Stone, actually. Here comes the throw, and in fact the throw nearly hits Tom Moores on its way back. We'll clarify it for you in a second. Adam Hose has had a good evening. 170 for 4 as Tom Moores picks out Hose in the deep off Briggs. And Moores has gone for 40. 4 4s, 2 6s, 21 balls stay. I mean, that's a terrific strike rate, almost 200. But he's out, caught by Adamos off Danny Briggs. And, well, Notts desperately didn't need that. 170 for 4 as Stephen Mullaney comes out to join Dan Christian.
Yeah, just lost that just at the wrong time. That wicket fell there. If Dan and Tom could have had a couple of overs, strong overs, it would have put Notts in potentially good stead. And obviously Mull comes to the crease now with 92 needed.
Yeah, they shared a terrific partnership at Headingley. Mullaney got 79, Christian 56. And he needs something, well, not quite as many, with only 92 required. Mullaney faces his first ball. He's hitting up in the air, and it's going to be 2 in 2. And Mullaney, who has been feast or famine in this competition, again goes first ball, and I think that is his 4th first baller. He's had 0, 15, 0, 79, 0 and 0, and I think all his noughts have been first ballers. Stephen Mullaney caught Stone this time, bowled Briggs, and Danny Briggs is on a hat-trick, 170 for 5. You can't really pass any blame for Mullaney, who was caught just in from the long off boundary.
Yeah, I think looking at his reaction, he was trying to go over extra cover there and didn't quite, get it wide enough and picked out mid off. But does he have any option but to come in and try and get that boundary?
Sami Patel is the new man. Second result of the evening in the North Group. Northants, who was second, have defeated top of the table Lancashire. We'll have to see how that leaves the table when we've finished. And in the South Group, Surrey have won the London Derby, defeating Middlesex in that one by 7 wickets. New man is Patel.
Yeah, noticing the field for Sami, that deep extra cover for one of his favourite shots.
And backward point as well is another of his favourites. He's got a single here, just caressing it into the covers. So a ton yesterday in the colours of Lashings. How many will he get this evening in the colours of the Outlaws? 171 for 5. Notts require 91 from 32. I'm no Rachel Riley, but that's 3 a ball, isn't it?
Yeah, you just hope now it's not just going to fade away and the wickets tumble.
I don't think it'll fade away while Christian's there. It's if he gets out, then it might happen. And this is drilled back to Danny Briggs.
That's hurt.
Didn't actually give Briggs the...
he's gone there. His finger's gone.
Hit him on the finger end. Yeah, asking for the physio to come. I didn't actually mention that he was on hat-trick, his first ball to Sami Patel. That one hurts, doesn't it, on the old finger end? It can dislocate it, it can break it, it can cut it.
Yeah, there's some blood coming from that, I think, looking at the way he's holding it.
And it's his left hand as well, his bowling hand. So he's talking to Russell Warren, who's waving on the physio. So it may well be that a replacement bowler will have to finish the over. Briggs, to me, doesn't have the air of somebody who wants to go off. I think it's just maybe split the webbing or something, and he wants a plaster or a bandage or something, and then will intend to carry on bowling. But if it is on his bowling hand, we'll have to see. It's definitely his left hand. 172 for 5. The other game in the North Group, already told you about wins for Leicestershire over Worcestershire, Northants over Lancashire. Yorkshire are going to defeat Durham because Durham need 80 from 2 overs, and they've only got 2 batsmen left, or 2 wickets left. So
where's your money this year, Dave?
Yeah. Don't know yet, because Northants are up the top, and I'm not saying they're a one-man team, but they've won 2 games with Chris Lynn scoring monster unbeaten centuries. And you know what it's like in T20. When Lancashire have got Livingston, and if they get Butler back for any period of time, they can blow anybody away. It's difficult, isn't it? Briggs is okay, bowls to Patel and forces it into the offside. you never know. It's all about finishing the group with a bit of momentum. 173 for 5 after 15. That was a damaging over.
I think Briggs is gonna run off now and have a subfielder on.
Another burst of Neil Diamond. Some more royalties for Neil Diamond. Yes, just wonder if we'll get some Sweet Sammy out there. He's going to be facing Jake Lintott. 89 from 30. Again, it's round about 3 a ball. But daft as it sounds, and I know I've been saying it all the way through, Notts are 6 runs ahead of where the Bears were at this stage. It's bonkers. Lintott bowls. Samit Patel has hit this one out onto the leg side.
Get up.
The wind holds it up. I don't think there is a deal of wind, but it seemed as if it was going for 6, but it didn't, and it was caught on the rope, and that very much is the end of Samit Patel. He's gone for 2, and it's 173 for 6. Thought he'd hit that sweet as a nut, but Craig Miles underneath it just had a little look, see where the rope was, just steadied himself. He's a tall man, isn't he, as well, Craig Miles, and right on the fence, judged it nicely, and it didn't clear his head and go for 6. It was nicely pouched. New man Calvin Harrison. Towel and some drinks have been brought out by Ben Slater in the championship match at Leicester the other day. This pair of umpires, they were so good in chasing 12 men off the field, because you know what it's like when you have them coming here, there, and everywhere at the end of overs and whatever. And they were getting a little bit snappy with 1 or 2 of the 12 men who were running on with bottles of water at the end of every over. Get off! There's Lintott. New man. Here's Calvin Harrison. Knows a little thing or two about spin bowling. Reverse sweeps Lintott first ball and gets a single. 174 for 6. And this now is the over where it appears to have got away from Notts potentially for good, because at the end of this over Notts needed to be 209. They're 174 and there's only 4 balls left, so
yeah,
it's just suddenly a huge leap. Lintott bowls. There's Christian into the offside, will only get a single. 175 for 6. One or two starting to drift away, Sam. Try and beat the cues, or trying to get out of the car park. Next ball cut away. There'll be just another run there for Calvin Harrison. 3 singles from the last 3 balls. That's not going to get the job done when you need 3 a ball. When you require 86 from 26. Won't be a record margin of defeat for Notts. This one's hit towards us, but round comes Rob Yates. Oh, he's palmed it over the rope for 6, which he then kicks in frustration. And Dan Christian's got a 6. Rob Yates should have taken that. Your man down below us ran round. He had it in both hands, and
he's kicked the rope back again, Dave.
Well, he spilled it and
lads.
Kicked the rope. 182 for 6. You tell him. Just not quite enough behind that from Dan Christian, but it got there nonetheless, and he's swept this onto the leg side for 4. Well, that helps, doesn't it? 6 and a 4 to end that over. 16 gone and 186 for 6. 76 required from 4 overs. The first time.
Are we still ahead, Dave?
No, for the first time Notts are behind. They're behind by 3, but they need 13 to be where the Bears were at the end of the 17th.
Yeah, these next couple are going to have to be two really huge overs for Notts needed, with Stone coming back into the attack.
Understand listeners to BBC 5 Sports Extra are with us at Trent Bridge, where Notts Outlaws and Birmingham Bears are taking part in a very high scoring thriller here. 186 for 6. It would seem as if the Bears have got more than enough runs on the board. And there's Calvin Harrison, bowled by Ollie Stone. Fires the ball up into the block hole. 186 for 7. Harrison goes for 2 earlier in the evening. The Bears a domestic record score of 261 for 2 with a century from Sam Hain, 88 from Adam Hose. They put 174 on. Notts all along have been very much in contention, but now starting to lose wickets towards the back end. And at 186 for 7, you think Sam Kelsall, their opportunity has all but gone.
Yeah, unfortunately I think it is gone now. It's going to take something really special, you would think, from Christian at this point. Yeah, just lost 2 or 3 wickets in quick succession, which has really knocked them back.
So Matt Carter is the new bat. Seen him clear the ropes a number of times in the past, but I think something of this magnitude might just be beyond him. Good to see Ollie Stone as a side issue, looking to be fit and well. 2 for 29. That was a terrific delivery. Here he comes again, bowling to Carter, who's had a bit of a kitchen sinker at that one outside the off stump. First ball, Matt Carter threw everything at it, got nothing on it, and it thuds into the gloves of Alex Davis. With Notts 186 for 7, now 76 required from 22 balls.
Yeah, we don't want Dan getting starved of the strike too much at this point.
Jake Lintott actually went for 54 runs in his 4 overs. Carter drives this down the ground, which finished with him getting the wicket of Samit Patel. 187 for 7, single taken there. Brings Dan Christian back on strike on 19. Notts captain has a good look around Trent Bridge, trying to find an area to target, but goes outside the off stump and tried to sort of played Sam across the line there, and the ball went between bat and pad outside the off stump. It was a very inelegant looking shot from the skipper. Anything will do, but you need to get the bat on it, and on that occasion Stone just too good.
I mean, he'll be looking to target square leg with fine leg and square being up, and Ollie's just gone wider.
When you need more than 20 and over, he's bowled 4 balls here for 1 run and picked up a wicket. Now Christian drives this out into the offside. They'll come back for a couple. The Bears won't mind that. 189 for 7. Dan Christian on to 21 from 12 balls. Joe Clark made 86. Terrific knock from Clark, but I mean, just past his half century, he broke his bat, and it was clearly a favourite bat. He tried to tape it. He asked for about 5 or 6 different ones to be brought out during the rest of his innings.
Oh, yes.
And Matt Carter, I beg your pardon, Dan Christian has played the old inside edge, the cut past the stumps, and gets a boundary down to fine leg. 4 runs to Dan Christian, 193 for 7 at the end of 17. Not so only 6 behind where the Bears were, but these next 3 overs, they still require, 62 and 7, 69 from 3 overs. Says he, trying to do the maths. Still plenty inside Trent Bridge singing along to the music, but there's also plenty that have picked up their bags and their belongings and are filing away. Still pretty much daylight, to be honest. The floodlights obviously have been on since before the start, and I guess without them we could probably only just about see, but still a very light evening. 193 for 7. Craig Miles has bowled 2 overs for 37. Going to bowl the 18th over. Matt Carter's on a strike on 1. Notts need a huge over, but first ball is drilled by Carter straight into the hands of Brathwaite at extra cover, and those figures of Miles are now 1 for 37. 193 for 8, and Matt Carter goes for just a single, and well, it's near the end now for Notts. We know that, but they've given it a real old go here. We've had almost 450 runs, in fact, just over 450 runs, Sam.
Yeah, mind-boggling, really. And Notts have given it a good hand, and obviously losing too many wickets has pegged them back, but it's potentially always going to happen in a run chase like this. And I think you alluded to it earlier on, Dave. Joe Clarke was potentially going to need to get a 150 plus score for Notts to get anywhere near the score.
Notts lost Hales for 4, Duckett for 26. Then they had a promising partnership developing between Joe Clarke, who made 86, Tom Moore's 40. But when they went, innings understandably fell away. The pressure having to score at 16, 17, 18 and over. Mullaney 0, Patel 2, Harrison 2, Carter 1. First ball that Miles bowls to Fletcher down the leg side is a wide. So one more to the total. Can Notts get them in wides? 194 for 8. They require 68 wides from 17 balls. There's only Dane Patterson to come. So with all due respect, Christian and Fletcher. Christian. Can they pull off something incredible? Down the leg side, and Fletcher's tickled this. Might just be cut off, and it is indeed down at long leg, and they get a single. 195 for 8. Well, pretty much Dan Christian has got to...
We've got to see 4 sixes
here,
Dave.
I was going to say he's got to somehow hit every ball he faces for 6 except the final ball of each over and get down the other end. 67 required from 16. Yorkshire have now defeated Durham by 65 runs. So wins in the North Group for Yorkshire, Leicestershire and Northants. Birmingham Bears are going to join them. Next ball down the leg side, it's a wide. 196 for 8. Bowler Craig Miles isn't too enamoured about that decision. Felt that Dan Christian had gone so far across his stumps that didn't deserve for it to be called as a wide. But umpire Chris Watts, not entirely sure he engaged in any conversation with him, but
tough school.
As I say, he did the championship game this week, and I liked him. He was particularly tough, and as I say, on all the 12 men who kept running on with drinks. Get off. Next ball hit away for 4. So that's the 200 up for Notts. Dan Christian got that away behind square on the leg side. Low full toss from Miles. Nicely executed by Christian, who's going at more than 200. Here his strike rate, 29 from 14 balls.
Notts have just reached the 200 and they're still 62 off. It's crazy.
It is. We're in the 18th over. At the end of this over, in the Bears innings, they were at 220 for 2, with pretty much Hayne and Hose, if you remember, at this stage. If it didn't go for 4, it went for 6. Phenomenal partnership. Next delivery on its way. Miles bowls. Christian drives through the offside. That'll be 4 more. Brathwaite, Ricky to his friends, or those reading the back of his shirt will see him chasing out towards the Fox Road stand, but he can't drag it back. And Dan Christian on to 33. Notts require 58 from 14.
Couple of 6s to finish this over now,
2 6s
David,
to finish,
nice.
and then 2 overs of 23, and my word, we'd scarcely be able to believe it, and those that have left already will wish they'd stayed. I think we might be a little optimistic here. 204 for 8. Dan Christian has 33. Craig Miles bowls, and he's nicked this through to the keeper, and Davis takes it, throws it skyward, and Christian goes, and Notts are now 9 wickets down. 204 for 9. Dan Christian caught behind by Alex Davis, just obviously trying to force it away on the offside, feathers it through, and Craig Miles has the wicket.
Yeah, and with that wicket, I think a lot of the crowd are now going, sadly.
Get over 200, Sam, and Notts are going to lose by 58 as it stands right now.
Yeah, absolutely crazy.
57, 204 for 9. They're 57 behind what the Bears got, 58 away from winning it. So the last pair are together. Luke Fletcher's at the non-striker's end. He's got 1 from 1 ball faced. Here's Dane Patterson, and with all due respect to the affable South African, you couldn't wish to meet a finer fella. But clubbing 58 from 13 balls isn't necessarily his forte. Craig Miles with a second wicket. Comes in looking for a third. Bowls to Patterson. Drives crisply to Brathwaite, who throws towards the far end and misses the stumps, with Fletcher trying to get down there. And they take the single. Well, that was a push and run, and Patterson's kept the strike.
A nice looking shot, wasn't it?
205 for 9. End of the over. So both batters have one apiece. Outlaws 205 for 9. Other results starting to come in the South Group. Surrey won the London Derby, defeating Middlesex by 7 wickets. Somerset have defeated Gloucestershire at Taunton by the narrow margin of 7 runs. Going to be Brathwaite, the skipper. 3 overs, 2 for 30 for him. Outlaws 205 for 9 here on BBC Radio Nottingham from Trent Bridge. Brathwaite trying to wrap it up. Bowls to Patterson, who's taken the aerial route, but it's just going to drop in no man's land between the bowler and long on and long off. And he takes the single, gets down the other end and swishes away far more vigorously than he actually did when he was trying to strike the cricket ball.
If he swings like that, Dave, and makes connection, Notts are in with a chance of winning.
Well, he could it could have done with coming up here and wafting like that to give us a little bit of a reprieve from the heat earlier. And Fletcher's bowled by Brathwaite, and that is it. Notts are all out for 206. High scoring encounter, but it's gone the way of Birmingham. 10 balls to spare. Birmingham Bears have won by 55 runs. Luke Fletcher is last out, bowled by Carlos Brathwaite for 1. Good Yorker from the Barbadian, and the Bears will take the honours. 261 for 2 they made, with a splendid partnership really between Hayne and Hose doing the job. Sam Hayne 112 not out, Adam Hose 88 not out. An English T20 domestic record score for the Bears of 261 for 2. Notts up until about the 15th, 16th over were very much neck and neck, if not ahead of where the Bears were. But those late runs, the really big overs that Hayne and Hose put together, absolutely did for Notts. And it was just the scoreboard pressure, Sam, that counted for Notts in the end. They weren't really at it early on with the ball. The Bears got off to a flying start. There was no let up on this unforgiving outfield. A huge score from the Bears. Notts gave it a go, but they've been well beaten.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was a real dominant performance from the Bears with the bat and ball, you know, to get that record score. And Notts were always up against that to try and chase that down, and gave it a good go. And you know, to score 206 and still be on the losing side, it just shows the modern day game really. And I think, you know, losing 2 or 3 quick wickets there in clusters in the middle really set Notts back, and you know, unfortunately coming out second best tonight.
Sam, we've not seen you for a while. It's been great to have you back in the commentary box. Don't take it personally this evening. Certainly not your doing, but we've very much enjoyed your company. We look forward to seeing you soon again on commentary. I hope you've enjoyed coming back to your old stomping ground.
Absolutely, Dave. Thanks for the invite. See you soon. Thank you.
Thanks very much to Sam Kelsall, who's been with us this evening. Sharing in this, what have we had? 467 run game. Birmingham Bears 261 for 2 in their 20 overs. Notts all out in the 19th for 206, winning by 55. Notts back in action on Sunday when they go to Blackpool to play Lancashire, a game that's now very much a must-win or a must-win contest for Notts up against one of the real stronger groups up and down the country. Really got to go there and defeat the Red Rose. A chastening experience for them this evening. Alex, they've been well beaten, I'm afraid.
They certainly have. Thank you very much indeed, Dave Bracegirdle, Sam Kelsall live on BBC Radio Nottingham on our FM frequencies and also on the BBC Sports website and app. As Dave was mentioning there, the Outlaws back in action on Sunday. You'll hear ball by ball commentary right here on BBC Radio Nottingham, again on our FM frequencies and online. Beaten by 55 runs, the Birmingham Bears setting a UK domestic record by scoring 261 for 2, which the Outlaws simply could not match. Thanks indeed for your company. Have a fantastic weekend. Make the most of the weather whilst it lasts for the rest of this evening. The forecast isn't great for tomorrow, but we'll see you again on Sunday with Colin Frey and Dave Bracegirdle. But for now, on your Friday.
Okay, so our thanks obviously to Dave and to Sam for the commentary this evening. Birmingham Bears take the victory by 55 runs. We will try and get some post-match reaction very, very shortly, so please do stick with us. Okay, so obviously at the end of every game here at Trent Bridge, the fans come onto the pitch and the lads come down, sign everything and that. So I've managed to grab Mull. Mull, obviously, 55-run defeat there by Birmingham. Heck of a target to get, an actual record domestically from Birmingham Bears. What was kind of the message in the dressing room at that halfway stage?
That we had a chance, really. I think you saw the start we got off to with Joe, and then Duckett initially, then Tom. I think it was probably about 40 over par. I thought 220 was probably a fair reflection, and they probably only got away from us at the end, really. I think, obviously we'll have to go and look at it. We probably didn't bowl as well as we can, but it's a rapid outfield, short boundaries, so we knew that it was going to be a high-scoring game. And credit to Birmingham, they played better than us tonight.
It's funny you should say about the we were always ahead really until it got sort of like 13th, 14th, over that kind of 2/3 we were always ahead. So it always kind of felt that we was in with a chance. Is that where losing a couple of wickets, I mean obviously yourself as well and Samit, in that kind of middle period where it kind of kills you? Yeah,
it does, and obviously you have to try and, I tried to go for extra cover, that's one of my shots, didn't get it quite right tonight. We thought we had a chance. I think when it got above sort of 17, 18 over, I think around 15, 16 we were quite comfortable. But you need, at the end, you need probably 2 overs where it goes for sort of 18 to 20 plus. So, and we didn't get that tonight. So, as I said, credit to Birmingham. But it's pretty simple for us. We need to win probably 5 out of 6 games. We go to Blackpool. This time next week we could be stood here with another 4 wins, and that's what we're going to have to try and do.
I said to Slats at the beginning of the game actually that we always never get too high with the highs, never get too low with the lows. Talked about these 5 games, including tonight, in 7 days. What is ahead of us is pretty clear, isn't it? And you just mentioned that trip to Blackpool on Sunday against Lancs. They're missing a few players, but really it's about us and getting back onto what we do and what we do best, really, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly right. We got Lancashire beat us easily here a few weeks ago, so we want to put that right. And then we play Leicester Derby, and then we travel to Durham for Friday. So, I think 4 winnable games, but we're going to have to play well. And I don't think we're too far away, but we need to obviously click quickly to get into the quarterfinals.
Okay, well, I'm going to let you go because you need to sign some stuff. I'm just going to literally, Ollie, sorry, this is very off the cuff. Ollie, can I grab Joe just for 30 seconds, if that's all right? Just on that, please, mate. I want to say first of all, we're live, mate. This is live. I want to say well done to you first of all. 86 runs, really came out with the intent. Now, I've known you for a few years now. I know what your kind of way of playing and how you were. I bet you were relishing that challenge, weren't you? You and Baz?
Yeah, we were. I think we know that at Trent Bridge you can chase any score. They potentially have got 20, 30, probably too many. But yeah, good wicket. Small side, one side, and we believed, me and Hales and the firepower that we have, that was definitely chaseable. But obviously, we've fallen short, and they're the better side on the night.
One thing on you, bat. Changed your bats many times. We've had loads of tweets and stuff like that, just talking about that. Because did you end up with one of Moore's?
I had that one with Tom's. Yeah, unfortunately, I've got a lot of bats.
We saw tonight, to be fair.
I've got a lot of bats, but the majority of them are brand new, and the ones that I've been using of this period, we've played a lot of cricket and I've managed to break all of them. So Tom said, why don't you use one of mine? And I've got a good one, and it just didn't feel the same, unfortunately. I could have done with the one that I was using at the start to last me the knock, and I might have carried on a little bit longer.
Just shows you though, doesn't it, how people would think, it's just a bat. But actually, you all do have your individual bats, and they're all made to your spec, etc., and stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, me and Tom are both with the same brand, but we've got completely different bats, and
makes a difference.
The bat is our main tool. So we are very particular, and So hopefully, I've asked one of our mating staff if he can fix them before Sunday.
I bet you sent a text, hadn't you already?
I sent a text straight away just now saying, please. If you can, before we get on the bus tomorrow, if I can have them done for Sunday. So, fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
Yep.
Just very briefly, because I know you've got to do something else. Looking ahead now, I've just spoken to Mull. Lancs on Sunday. We've got another 4 games as well in a short space of time. Positive mental attitude, looking at what we've got to do and really get back on that kind of Outlaws wagon, as we like to call it sometimes.
Definitely. I think what's frustrating is that the majority of years we've been top of the table, Rarely lost a game in the group stage. But T20 cricket, this type of cricket, it's all about getting momentum at the right time. So if we win all of our next remaining games, and we sneak into a quarter-final place, we back ourselves to go anywhere, have anyone here, and get to finals day, and that's obviously the goal.
Exactly, mate. Well, I'm going to let you go. Well done, mate.
Cheers,
right, yeah. Okay. Thank you very much for everybody that has joined us this evening for this fixture against Birmingham, which they do take the 2 points, a 55-run victory for the Birmingham Bears. We will be back here on Tuesday night against Leicester, but from an Outlaws point of view, it is away at Lancs on Sunday, up at Blackpool. Watch the stream, get behind your Outlaws, and we will see you back here on Tuesday for Trent Bridge Live.